Well, good day, viewers. Today we have a 2014 Chevy Silverado 1500 4x4 crew cab, and it's here because it has a number of warning lights on. The customer's message says the ABS light is on, check engine light is on, trailer sensor, I don't know what that means, rattle from the left front, and no remote start, and that's because the check engine light is on. Well, I see service airbag. Let's dismiss that. It's got 219,000 miles on it. I believe it's on its third transmission now. So let's do a network scan of all the controllers and see why these lights are on. See if there's any ABS messages as well. Okay, so I've loaded the vehicle record because I've worked on this thing several times before. Let's see what we have for codes. 350,000 kilometers. Do a code scan, pre-scan. Fuel trim code, misfire detected, imagine that. 446 EVAP vent system performance. Anti-lock brake, pump motor circuit actuator stuck. Invalid data received from body control module. Left rear side impact sensor short to battery or open. Probably broken wires in the door. Traction control switch circuit short to ground. Low voltage in the HVAC module. LIN bus code. That's in the HVAC. Low speed CAN bus. Power steering control module low voltage. Control module low voltage in the radio. Traction control switch circuits short to ground. And the EVAP. Okay, so let's go into the engine and look at misfire counters. He didn't mention anything about a miss, but some people don't notice it. Let's look at data and misfire data. Misfire in cylinder 8, 426. It's not that bad. That's it. Not currently misfiring. Misfiring in number 8. Number 8 is not a AFM cylinder. Those cylinders are 1 and 7 and 4 and 6. So I would think, given the mileage, it probably could use a set of spark plugs. I don't know when they were replaced last. And then we have the EVAP code. Let's look at freeze frame data. Codes menu, freeze frame failure records. See which one of these codes set last. Might have an open vent solenoid, a wiring problem. Vent system performance 446. I'll write that down. And the P0300 we know. Let's see how many times this code is set, if it gives us that information. Engine off time 18 hours. Runtime 14 minutes. Doesn't say how many times it's set. Oh, ignition cycles without malfunction, 0. So it must be fairly current. Distance since last failure, 2,465 kilometers. Distance in DTC cleared, 2,468 kilometers. Ignition cycles with malfunction since first malfunction 1. So it must be fairly current. Well, this scanner keeps a record of all these codes, so I'm going to do a network code clear. and see what comes back. It says key on engine off, but I know I can do it with it running. Now anything that doesn't clear would likely be a current fault code. Computers says codes cleared. Let's go back into the engine. Codes menu, display codes, see what came back, if anything. Nothing came back. Let's try a functional test of the EVAP system. And output controls. Virgin seal. A valve, virgin, oh there it is. I didn't look at how much fuel's in it, but we'll find out shortly. It'll abort the test. Vent solenoid valve not venting. Fuel tank pressure in inches of water is -3. Okay. So right away it starts to build a vacuum in the tank. That's good. And then we click seal, and it should hold that vacuum, and it appears to be holding it fairly well. I'll check the gas cap to see if the filler neck is rusty. Well, it's holding pretty good. Wonder what the fuel level in the tank. Fuel level 1.9, fuel level remaining 71 liters. So it's about 80%, maybe close to 90%. Well, I don't know what to recommend here. I just think I'll just check the gas cap. I'm going to take the cap off while it's sealed. Well, the cap looks pretty clean. The seal looks pretty clean. I'm going to put some dielectric grease on it anyways. Okay, I'm going to try the purge and seal test again. Right away at 20% it's building a vacuum, and it gets to about 8 inches of water. Click seal and it should hold it. Well, this is passing now in my opinion, considering the fuel level so high in the tank. There's not a lot of vapor volume on top of the fuel. I'm going to check the level. Well, according to the fuel gauge, it shows 3/4 of the tank. So let's investigate some of these other codes now. So we'll check the codes in the airbag module again. D0087. Left root side impact. Well, might be broken wires between the left rear door and the pillar. I wonder if we can see data regarding deployment loops. 1 through 14, they don't tell you which one's which. But 3, 2.6, 3.1, 2.6, 2.3, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.3, 2.5. Now 13, 14 may not exist. Don't see anything that stands out. Yeah, 13 and 14 are undefined. I wonder if it's in the next data list. 15 to 18. Yeah, they're undefined. That would be for an SUV, I believe. Like a Suburban Tahoe with a third row seating. Deployment loop configuration data. Well, that's not a deployment loop, that's a impact sensor. That's an impact sensor. I wonder if that code was there before in history when I scanned this thing. Let's look at the vehicle records here. Because maybe we've already talked about it and she doesn't want to fix it. Attachments. So this is the report from today. August 3rd, 22. View. A year ago. 13 months ago. Post catalyst fuel trim codes, HVAC, radio. That's it. Well, I'll talk it over with her. And then the other code was in the ABS. Today. (446 300 C0110). Okay, time for some research. So when you're looking at these 5-digit OBD2 compliant codes, there's usually a symptom code, in this case C0110 symptom 61. So it's important that you note that symptom because it directs you in the diagnostic flow chart. 61 is a pump motor stuck. So conditions for running the 61, the vehicle speed is greater than 20 kilometers and brake is not applied. The test is initiated once per ignition cycle when the vehicle speed is greater than 15K and a fault was set on the last ignition cycle. Conditions for setting the DTC, code 61. Pump motor continues to rotate briefly after deactivation, creating a feedback voltage. The electronic brake control module sets the DTC if the measured feedback voltage indicates a binding or stalled pump motor. So what's the process to scan it or to diagnose it? Test for less than 10 ohms between ground circuits terminals listed. So they want to check the grounds. Now there is a ground on the frame rail just below the driver's feet by the cab mount that is common to corrode, so it would be wise to clean that ground, because I've seen that set fault codes in the past. And again, this is an intermittent problem. So basically check powers and grounds, and if they're good, replace the electronic brake control module and brake pressure modulator. So I think we're going to clean the grounds and clear the codes and drive it and see what happens. So we're looking underneath the truck, and this is the ground wire here in question. It's coated and undercoated. We're going to take that off and clean it. Just generally looking at this thing, I see it's got a new transmission. Apparently the transmission failed for the second time. So it looks like its transmission's been replaced. There's the ABS pump motor hydraulic unit. Don't see anything obviously wrong with the harness and the wiring. Getting a little rusty. There's the vent solenoid. There's the charcoal canister, and everything looks intact. No signs of fuel leakage on top of the tank. Well, we'll clean that ground and reset the computer and run an ABS pump motor test. So that ground isn't all that clean underneath all that tar. 10 mil headed bolt to take out, 6 mil threads. So we'll clean up the frame, we'll clean up this eyelet and put it back together again. So I cleaned it with a Rolllock sanding disc and then reattached it and torqued it and then sprayed it with rubberized undercoating. So we're going to run the pump motor test and see if the pump motor runs fine. So we're in the ABS, I'm going to check for codes. Shouldn't be any codes. Functional tests, output controls. Let's see if we can ABS pump motor voltage. Probably have to step on the brake to do this. But I would think that this would load test the powers and grounds. I can hear it running. That's pretty cool. I've never actually done that before. So you can command it up to 12 volts. Sounds smooth. Let's see if it set any codes. Well, that's it for now. That's what we're going to do with this thing, is give it back to the customer with the understanding that if it happens again, it's likely going to need an ABS pump motor assembly. Let's see what other functional tests we have. Automated bleed, output controls, brake booster, electric, brake pressure sensor, calibration, left front solenoid, 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 solenoid. And yaw rate sensor learned, steering angle sensor learned. Well, now we'll investigate the plugs, I guess, but I think that's it for this video. If there's any other follow-up, I'll make a comment. Thanks for watching. So I decided I'd investigate this B0087 airbag light on, left rear side impact sensor, opener shorted to ground. And here is the left rear, and the two wires are orange and blue and black and orange. So let's have a look at the vehicle. I just decided to have a look in that door harness. And I know I fixed one wire in here before, a LIN bus wire. That's that green wire there. But the black orange wire is broken down in this bend down here. I just pulled on it. I suspect, I checked the price on that door harness, it's about $160. That's the proper way to fix it, because to get in here and splice this wire, you have to pretty much take the door panel off and pull the harness in and, you know, make a loop like I did here. Like I did here before. That green wire is a LIN bus wire for the power window switch. and a few other things in the door, like the door ajar switch and so on. Anyways, I'll talk to the customer and see if they want to repair this with a new harness.